I'm pretty sure you watched a ton of tutorials, maybe took some classes, or tried to learn things by trials and errors. But I feel like every single mixing advice these days tries to be as correct and in accordance with art as possible. Yeah, and sometimes it leaves the art and joy behind. Although our goal here at Mastering the Mix is to give you the best solutions and advice as possible, that doesn't mean we don't have some quick and easy and sometimes dirty tips upon our sleeve. First, let's take our anatomy into advantage. Human ears are the most sensitive to mid-range content, roughly around 3.5 kHz. As I sweep through frequencies, you most likely hear that one is harsher than the other. But that can really work wonders if you want to bring something more upfront. As you see, this mastering mode of Mixroom won't allow me to boost more than 4 dB, but for what we're about to do, that's actually a good safeguard. And while it clearly gets louder, we don't want that big of a difference or risking the volume balance. Luckily, Mixroom has a cool gain matching algorithm, so let's use it and then hear things in the context. But you may say, well, boosting like that can also bring up tones I don't want to have. That's clever and correct, but luckily there is an alternative. Instead of EQ, I will use Animate, precisely the Ignite panel, which is a harmonic distortion unit. Let's try to focus on that same area with Listen mode enabled. A cool option inside it is that you don't need to pull up a whole sound. Once you use threshold, you can dictate which parts you want to be affected. Just like a compressor, but in a different way. With harmonic boost applied, this range in particular, we got even better sounding boosts, if you ask me. But be careful, since this trick gets you in the risk of adding harshness. A quick solution for that would be to add any sort of tape emulation plugin at the end of your chain and then changing the tape speed to lower values. Next one takes advantage of one of our plugin functions, but no worries if you don't have it already. A free trial is waiting for you down in the description. So I made this mix quickly a while ago, and once I got back to it, I feel like this mid-bass sound I designed on my synth clearly deserves more love. As you can see, I've done a bunch of things already to make it not conflict with sub in the context, but it's barely noticeable at this point. Once I put Fuser on it and select my sub as sidechain source, this input indicator starts to move. It suggests the adjustments to make those sounds equally loud. So let's try to match it. Okay, I think it sounds cool, but I feel like it needs a bit more cohesiveness, so I guess it's time to resolve conflicts. And maybe just to be safe, try to resolve any phase issues that may occur. Now, if you think that's overcomplicating, that's totally fine, but just imagine people using overcomplicated stereo wideners and imagers while totally neglecting the good old basics. You only need a good quality analyzer, which also has a free trial available, and a duplicate of this track. And no worries, I won't ask you to just pan one to the left and one to the right. Can't believe people are still thinking that solves the problem. Well, it does, but only if you make some changes to one or the other track. First, let's try applying a different EQ on it. And yes, this can be dangerous, but clearly works. A much safer way is to think in a synthesizer way and detune one of tracks slightly. See, And that's why you need analyzers, since you can get that sweet stereo sound without losing compatibility. But what if you want to increase the width of a whole group or even a whole master? If you subscribe to our channel, which you should be doing by this time already, you may remember this trick, but it's too good to not include it here. Once again, I will use Ignite tab and Animate, and first let's put it on listen mode and then increase the amount, so I can actually hear what I'm doing. We don't want to add width to lower areas, so let me adjust the range real quick. Now the magic sits in switching it to side mode, so we are only boosting the sides here. And once I exit the listen mode, yeah, it's a bit too much, but that was just to dial in the range, so let's bring the amount down. And as I said before, if you like the idea of any of our plugins or the tips we make with them, make sure to check out the description, since there is a free trial waiting for you, so you can actually try a whole range and apply those tips to your own mixes. But besides of the tips I showed you here, if I would need to recommend which plugins to get first, then definitely the ones from this video.